Hey folks, it's GP. Now I've had the pleasure of testing a couple of different apps whilst having this channel, and none have come more unique and strangely weird than FRMS. FRMS is a versatile hybrid synthesizer that combines granular, FM, subtractive and addictive synthesis using a flexible layering system. At least that's what it says here. It has 4 synth engines and 4 layers per voice. It has granular, FM, addictive and subtractive. You can granulate samples, or you can even record your own audio as well. And there's up to 20 grains per layer. And of course there is a sample library, you've just heard some of them, and you can create your own. This app comes from the minds of Imaginado. And today I'm going to be taking you through frames and show you how the basics of it works so you can get up and running. So we have my Arturia Keylab, which is switched on and connected by Bluetooth to the iPad, and I'm using the WiDi Master Bluetooth module for that. I've done a video all about the WiDi Master. If you want to have a look at that, I'll put that in the cards now. So when you launch frames, it looks something like this. Now I've got it on a specific patch for a reason, which is called Club Piano, and I'm going to take you through what this patch looks like. Right at the top, we've got our menu there. You can log in with a profile. There's the store, your MIDI settings, and other settings as well. Next to the title, you've got MIDI Learn. So if you've got a keyboard that's got MIDI controllers, knobs, faders, you can assign them to the control section of this. Then you have the clock source, which is internal as standard, but you can also go MIDI clock and link it as well. You've got your tempo, and then you've also got your patch. On the right hand side, you've got a save button, so you can save brand new patches. So you could use a preset to begin with and then save as a patch. You could save it locally, and then if you log in, you can also save it in the cloud. One nice thing you've got under the saving patch is you've got tags. Lots of sounds have strange names, but you might want a lead or you might want an organ, and you can go and find that really quickly. Next door to save, we've got an undo, and that undo, if we make some changes and we change things over, which I'll explain in a moment, if we click undo, it asks, are you sure you want to revert the patch to its original state? So we click yes, and it'll put it back to the way it was. Next door to undo is a randomizer, and it'll randomize all the controls to completely change this sound if you want it to, just if you want to experiment or you want to find something new. And then you can tap on the patch to actually scroll through in name order, or you've got an up and a down arrow right in the top corner there, and that'll just go to the next patch. Now it looks like there's lots of things here, but actually it's really well organized, and it's 2 instances of the same thing. So you'll notice on the right hand side, just underneath, you've got waveform, control, envelope, matrix, modifiers, and global. That is copied further down. So we've got waveform here, exactly the same, control, envelope, matrix, modifiers, and global. And we're on layer number 1. So for example, on layer number 1, I could look at the waveform and the control at the same time. If I go over to layer number 2 at the top, then that happens underneath as well. So you're always on the same layer, no matter which one you pick. The nice thing as well is the layers themselves are color coded. So you've got 4 layers for each sound, and you've got layer 1 is blue, you've got purple is layer 2, you've got this kind of plum color for layer 3, and you've got this orangey red color for layer 4. So we're on layer 1 at the moment, and this is a wave, which is a sample, and I'm just going to hit it and let go. Now you heard more than that sound there, and that's layers 2, 3, and 4. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to turn off all the other layers for now, and we're just going to listen to layer 1. It's a simple piano. And each time you hit your key, you'll see a tiny little dot, and that dot moves from left to right for each note. If you play higher up, it's playing that sample quicker, so the dot moves quickly. If you're playing lower down, the dot moves slower. Let me show you. So what I'm going to do now is turn on layer 2. Layer 2 is actually the same WAV, but it's just got a couple of things that are different about it that are treated. Let's turn on layer 3, and this is a different sound which is called hammer action. And you can see that plays a lot slower because it's further down the keyboard. And then turn on layer 4, and it's hammer action again, and again it's treated differently. So let's turn these layers off and go back to layer 1. So you can see it says waveform. I can tap on that, and now it's actually using my vocal. You can see there it's picked up the iPad microphone, and we can use it as a freeze and hold that there. Or what we can do is we can record. So we can one, ha, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where it gets really interesting. But what we're going to do for now is it's really quick. But what we're going to do for now is go back to waveform. Or what we can do is we can download a new sound and put a different sound in if you want to as well. The next section is called control, and this is how you manipulate that sound. We've just got our one layer for now. And there it is. And it's slightly panned over. We can see that it's active at the moment, so we can turn it off and literally nothing happens. There's a cutoff, there's also a key, there's a level, there's a resonance, there's all these different things you can use. It's quantized, what the window is. And then when you start going into things like the envelope, you can see how that plays. Now, I said this before, but you can assign different things to the controllers here, for example. So we've got things like Midi learn to assign them over. So I could assign, for example, let's just do Midi learn on, that one. There we go. Midi learn, that one. So what I've done is I've assigned the offset and the resonance to the same control. Of course, you can change that however you like. Now, if you're used to doing things with synthesis, then envelope is pretty much where you have your attack, how the system responds to how you press down. So as you hit it, it's going to attack it, and as you let go, whether it curves off or just dies straight away. You'll see that'll stay there now until I let go. There we go. Now, matrix is where we can start really dialing in and changing things. And this is really good to actually randomize. So of course, there's lots of different things you can do with control, but the other thing as well to take a note on is where it says active here, you've also got engine, and we can change the engine over from a granular one to an oscillator. This is where the waveform is faded out at the moment. If we go over there, the waveform changes. But what we can do as well is if you have a look at a couple of different things. So when I hit the key, you'll see this little line go across. But if we go to density, it's like I'm hitting it lots of different times, but it's still being sustained and played. Even, timed, in sync. And this is where it gets really interesting, because now what we can do is we've got two lines, and you'll see these two lines here just in the corner, and I can change the size of those lines, and I can randomize where it starts playing. So I've told it to play the density synced, but I've only told it to play within that very, very small amount for multiple times. Let's bring our other ones back. Okay, then we just go over to a different patch, and let me just show you how you can really utilize the controls and also the matrix of this by messing around with just a couple of sounds. And That's literally holding one finger down. So let's have a look at this chorded sax. First of all, layer 1 is being played. You can see the line there. Let's turn all the others off. So this first one, that's it. Let's go to layer 2 and find out what's going on there. Let's turn that one off, go to layer 2. And this is really, really interesting because what we can then do is these two lines where it's going to be played, you can also tell it to bounce back. You can also tell it to move those lines. Watch this. And as I let go, it puts those lines back exactly where they should be. This is really cool. Let's turn that one off. Let's go to number 3. So if you want to figure out how to do this, what you do is you go into Matrix. And Matrix is where you can change the size and the density. And you can reset it all if you want to, but you can move things around. So let's change the size here. Let's move this. You see that? Now number 4 is just a waveform. It's just a sine tone, which gradually just fades out. But when you add all these together, it's actually layers 2 and 3 that keep going. Layers 1 and 4 just play out, and that's it. What I really like about this is then when you let go, then you can tell it to just stop dead, or you can actually let it move back to the beginning again. Or you can have it completely random the whole time, even when the key's not being played. Let me show you another one that utilizes the control and the matrix to its full extent. That's pretty cool, right? This first layer is using lots of granular, and it's just being played lots of times whilst moving around the sample. Now you could change the way that works, where you could move these two lines and say start at one bit and move over and then move back again. But how cool is that, just on its own? Then the second one is a saw wave. The third one is actually the same WAV. The WAV is called sadness.wav, but it's actually the same WAV, but just in a different section. Remember, wherever you are on the keyboard determines how fast or slow the sample is being played. Finally, layer number 4, again, is sadness. And it's a tiny, tiny part of that sample. And it's literally there just to give a little bit of like ambiance, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of atmosphere. So let's add the others back in. Now the thing with frames is you can do this where you've got lots of different sounds and move it over. You can do something really, really calm like this. You can do stuff that's absolutely mental. if you're into things like soundscapes or you want to create something atmospheric, Frames is a fantastic piece of kit. Now, it doesn't stop there. That is just the factory settings. You've also got, obviously, local things that you've had, your own cloud stuff, and there's also stuff by a couple of other people who've created banks and patches as well. Now, I'm using the iOS version at the moment that I got from the App Store, but also there is a Android version. There's also a PC and Mac version as well. And the great thing is, if you go to Imaginado's website, you can actually try Frames for free. Now, I've only scratched the very, very top of the surface of this app. It is huge, and it's one of these things where you could spend hours creating a new patch, or one simple patch could start an inspirational journey to create a brand new song or soundscape, depending on what you're doing. I'd like to thank Imaginado for reaching out to me and showing me Frames. It is a unique app, certainly on the iOS platform. And to have something as powerful as FM and granular synthesis built in on an iPad is just fantastic. If you have found the content of this video useful, then please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me and it helps the channel grow. If you want to support me a little bit further, you can do. You can buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com. Buy Me a Coffee keeps this channel alive, and for those who already have done, thank you very much. Also, if you want my help, one-on-one advice on maybe how to get set up with iOS or maybe live streaming or looping, I now offer that service on Buy Me a Coffee. There's a link in the description. Go check it out. So that is Frames on iOS. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.